1.1 FM. And guess what's coming? It's an annual event now for the Indiana Players, and we're going to talk about it this morning with Kathleen Kerns and Michael Schwartz. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have both of you here in the studio with us here this morning. It's the annual one-act thing, huh?
This is the 8th annual.
Wow.
So it's been going on for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
And what this is a chance for people who maybe want to get their feet wet with directing, but they are new to it and aren't quite ready for a full-length production.
Sure.
For actors who would love to be on stage but don't have the time to commit to a 5 or 6 week rehearsal process.
Uh-huh.
And it's a chance for playwrights who don't have as much opportunity to have their works produced. Last year and this year, I'm the coordinator of the festival, and I selected plays from unpublished playwrights so that they would donate their services so it could actually be a fundraiser for the theater as well, since we weren't paying for the rights. So everyone involved, completely 100% volunteer.
Is it local?
Well, we have a local playwright, Eric Whitmer. Mm-hmm. He's also going to be directing 2 pieces, and he's in 2 pieces. My husband, Michael Schwartz, is a professor in the theater department at IUP. Mm-hmm. He is directing a piece, he has written a piece, and he's in 2 pieces. And then we have a playwright, Mark Bellucci, from New York City. We have another playwright who used to be from New York City, and she is now in Nashville, and her name is Judy Class.
And somehow she made her way here.
She sent us her work, and we're familiar with her, and I think everyone's really going to enjoy what she's written.
Wonderful. So, Michael, you're all in pieces, huh?
Absolutely. And one of our playwrights is also a recent IUP graduate.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
And we're looking forward to producing this mix of some more experienced people, some newer people, mm-hmm. and we're all working together to put on this great annual event.
Are there particular challenges when you're doing this as opposed to more traditional offerings from Indiana Players?
There are, because the time frame is a little bit shorter. We try to make the rehearsal schedule a little bit shorter, but with so many different people and schedules and some people in more than one of the plays, mm-hmm. Scheduling, I think, is sort of the nightmare.
Yeah. And I would guess when you're doing, what is it, 8?
There will be 7 plays.
7 one-act plays that somebody who's in multiple plays is going to have to shift gears rather quickly. Michael, you're one of those that's going to have to do that and remember what play you're in and what character you're playing.
Right. We have different responsibilities in terms of being on stage, different responsibilities in terms of transitioning from one piece to the other, mm-hmm. because each one has its own setting, its own set pieces, and its own...
So the actors have to be the stage crew, too.
Oh,
and we actually choreograph that almost like a dance. Who's going to move what, where, when.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sounds wonderful. So it sounds like a fun experience.
It is. And it might be hardest on our stage manager, all in all.
Uh-huh. Now, Kathleen, you coordinate the event. What other things are you doing in association with it? Are you directing any, or?
I will be directing 3 one-acts, and I was the one who selected all the material mm-hmm. and assigned the directors.
Okay. So, 2 things we haven't done. We haven't given the wheres and the whens, so let's do that right now.
Absolutely. So this 8th annual one-act festival is happening at the Indiana Players. That is the Philadelphia Street Playhouse located at 725 Philadelphia Street, so mm-hmm. sort of diagonal from where we are at the moment. And the performance dates, we only run one weekend. So what we've done is we've added a Thursday night. We don't usually have performances Thursday, but that way if you're away for the weekend, you can come on Thursday. So June 1st, Thursday night, 7:30 p.m., June 2nd and 3rd at 7:30 p.m. That is Friday and Saturday. And then a Sunday matinee on June 4th at 2:30. Tickets are $12 for adults. We have a $10 rate for senior citizens. We have a $10 rate for students. And we also will give groups of 10 or more coming together a $2 discount per ticket.
Oh, see, that was the other thing we hadn't done, was given the ticket information. But now we've done that. So tell me about the plays that you're directing.
I'm directing one called the Poe-Stir. Okay. So it is a poster of Edgar Allan Poe that is causing a college literary student a lot of grief. Oh. The ghost of Poe is getting into his mind. as he crunches.
Does Poe speak?
He might speak. He just might.
That sounds like fun.
And then the other one that I'm doing is called Accentuate the Positive, about a gentleman who has a great, great attitude towards life, and it seems that nothing can throw him, but maybe there is something. We'll find out.
Okay.
And then the last one is called The Other Woman.
Uh-oh.
And I'll just leave you to your imagination what you think that might be about.
Michael, tell me about the place that you're in and involved in.
I'm involved in two of the plays. I'm directing The Mysterious Meeting of Poppy Parker, which is a play that deals with the very tragic issue of teenage suicide. And I'm also involved in the piece that Kathy mentioned earlier, Accentuate the Positive.
Uh-huh.
It's a sketch I wrote for originally for a comedy group some time back, and as she said, it is about a very positive-minded person who doesn't get thrown, except possibly he might.
When you're involved in this many plays, and either of you can answer this, when you're involved in this many plays in a single night and for a single coming together of the theater group, are there plays or performances that you experience and then you say to yourself, wow, that was really good? That maybe, I don't know that you weren't expecting it, but it's always good to be pleasantly surprised.
Absolutely, especially, like I said, with this fast process. Last night I had that experience where things just move so smoothly and things are just
It'll never happen again,
really
you know.
clicking and you're like, wow, okay. But our actors are really ready for an audience because you get to this point and you need that feedback. It's really hard to perform live in an empty auditorium with, the director sitting there. So they really need that response.
Yeah, and I imagine when things happen like that, that you find all kinds of wood to knock on and every other thing that you can. That's how I want it to go.
Exactly.
And then comes performance night, and maybe there's something else that crops up during the night of the performance. A performer does something differently, and all of that comes together too. I'm sure that you both experienced that in your long theater careers.
That happens all the time. It really does, and it's fun to. That's one of the joys of live theater, is seeing how people react to the things that maybe don't go exactly right, or someone trying something different. So you get to see that, in the moment, which, you can't get from television,
There
right?
You go. There you go. The Indiana Players' 8th annual one-act festival is coming up this weekend, starting on Thursday night, running through the weekend. Michael, you mentioned a while back that one of the plays is written by a former IUP student.
Yes, she just graduated in May. Her name is Sydney Elder, and she's an incredibly all-around talented person in terms of performing, in terms of being an excellent student, and in terms of exploring playwriting as well. And we're very happy to give this play sort of a first hearing for the community.
I'm interested in her development from when you first encountered her at IUP to the young lady that you know now, and how she has developed through the IUP theater department into who she is now as a writer, as a performer, as somebody involved in theater. What's it been like to watch that growth process?
It's a terrific part of my job to see that process in our students, and she came to us with a great deal of talent, and it was nice to see her explore other avenues like playwriting, like dramaturgy, the research that you do behind the scenes of a show, and stepping up to positions of responsibility, running the student sketch comedy troupe, for example. And she has this great combination of being very responsible and having everything together, and being quite fearless on stage in terms of being incredibly goofy and ridiculous.
What's her play about?
And her play is about the ramifications of teenage suicide, and how the survivors try to deal with that event.
Now, when you hear that, you might think it's a very dark piece, and it's really quite the opposite.
Really?
because it is dealing with not the act itself, but the aftermath and the people who are left, and they're sort of trying to figure out their lives. Some of it are handling it better than others, and she just finesses this with these very short, sort of fast-paced scenes that cover a lot of territory in a short amount of time, and there's a lot of hope in it, and a lot of there's a little comedy, there's some hope, and so it's much lighter than it might seem, even though it's dealing with a serious subject, and it's respecting the seriousness of the subject too.
It's happening this weekend, the 8th annual One Act Festival, the Indiana Players, right across the street and down the block a little bit at the Indiana Players. What's it called all of a sudden? The Playhouse.
This is the thing. It's the Philadelphia Street Playhouse because, you have the Indiana Theater down the street, and that confuses a lot people. So.
I know. Well, I shouldn't. I've been saying it for all these years, and all of a sudden it just escaped me. Oh, getting old. Kathleen, Michael, thanks for coming in to visit with us today. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you having us. Thank you.
It is Indiana in the Morning, presented, as always, by First Commonwealth Bank, and it's AM 1160 WCCS, 101.1 FM.